Hi, my name is Desmond Agbali. I'm a social commentator, and my mission is simple to help you exercise the power of your mind for personal and professional growth. Welcome to my podcast. Let's get it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Desmond Agbali podcast again. It is a special episode, this one, because we'll be focusing on law enforcement and servicemen. It is particularly a very, very interesting time because coincidentally, there is this issue in Nigeria now about ex law enforcement officers who were owed, who have not been paid, certain benefits due to them, and for some reason they decided to protest. So, in the usual character of the Nigerian police, as we've known it to be for a long time, if a last sang about the police rascality and all that, they decided to oppose their ex-men protesting. It is a very funny thing. But look, today is not about politics, all right? We really just want to focus on servicemen and how important they are, the service they provide, the duty, okay, that they have decided to give to the nation. It is, I'm trying to look for the word. You cannot, all right, buy that. Many of us are not that brave to do what these guys do. Respect and salute to the fallen heroes, law enforcement. I'm talking police, military, deep state, the NIA, Office of the National Security Advisor, and some all of that some some key elements of deep state. So let's get one thing straight. All right, government has sort of a monopoly of coercion and destruction through its military and paramilitary forces. Sometimes, especially now that insurgency has become the case all over the world, it is now as though non-state actors, certain non-state actors, all right, with interests, now have the same ability to enforce coercion and destruction through miscreants, mostly uneducated men and women looking for any means of survival, and then they use these people to sort of coerce the state or cause destruction. Nigeria has not given much to many of us, let's be honest. And I want to choose my words carefully because this may rattle some people, and rightfully so. Someone like Mama P, Precious Obruche, she may disagree. Oh, by the way, I love her. I might disagree on certain of her methods, but she's generally a very likable person. There are a few of those in that category. Dr. Abati can be very, very diplomatic in his own way. Uncle Jimmy Disu, these people have never met, but I follow them and I follow them intently. So, law enforcement is key, all right, for any society to get it right. Law enforcement, traffic agencies, emergency management agencies, all kinds of, humanitarian agencies, and the ones with the ability to bear firearms. They all play a part in ensuring that society is kept and held together and that anarchy is not the order of the day. I respect servicemen. As I said, I think, or no, rather, none of us are that brave to do what they do. In that light, I want to give you your flowers. I know it's tough to be a serviceman in Nigeria, both ex and currently in active service. The state doesn't provide you much choice not to go the other way, especially when you've been given the license to bear arms. That's why a lot of you do what you do, and it is not right. But for those of you who do your job the way you're supposed to, I salute you. I adore your courage. I adore your spirit, your resilient spirit. I adore your spirit, to want to do what's right by the people and for the people, even when sometimes politicians don't make it easy for you. However, wearing the uniform, there is an authority that you possess, bestowed upon you by government on all levels, federal, state mostly, or federal, because federal gives the authority to military and paramilitary forces. And so the president is usually the grand commander of the Federal Republic. Some of you have not held that authority with decorum and with decency and dignity. You've not been responsible enough in your actions. You've been very obtuse and insensitive. You've been very selfish. You've been very unnecessarily stubborn and irritating. You have been, sometimes some people would describe that there's been no difference between you and some of the thugs. And that, in fact, some thugs are more, well-behaved than some law enforcement officers. But for those of us who like to look at things through the microscopic lens, it is usually our hope, all right, that somehow we get it right. And this getting it right wouldn't just happen overnight. It would take real efforts, deliberate efforts to change things. So for those of you who are servicemen, who are in the system, always using the system to your own advantage, as opposed to using it for the people that you serve, because it's service. You serve the people, you're supposed to do things in their interest. You're Nigerian as well, so you have the right to look out for your interests. However, with the authority given to you, with the way you're expected to carry yourself, you're not supposed to be about yourself. You're supposed to be selfless. And now for those of you who have brought some of these agencies to ridicule, shame on you. That is not what you should be doing. As a matter of fact, I understand the place of your welfare and looking after you. Look, I play in the private sector. I play in hospitality. I've played there for some years, so I can tell you for a fact that I don't. The idea of working for government, especially the Nigerian government, doesn't appeal to someone like me. It is not because of, say, money. It is not, maybe I do not have the ability to be corrupt or to use the system to my advantage. It's just that for some of us, our conscience are still very much alive. So when we do certain things, we're judged first by self before, and if society is smart enough to pick that we've erred, society can then judge us. But really, there is a lot we do on self. And knowing that, with that knowledge, some of us cannot be seen to, doing certain things. It would just be out of place. It would just be out of character. And so when you wear that uniform, shout out to the soldiers in the field fighting terrorism. Again, the politics in the military is disgusting. A lot of us frown at it. Do not use lives for politics. That has been the case for many years. And these politicians just don't get it. They just do not get it. There come a time, all right, when a country must take the right step and say, look, do you know what? We as politicians, we've stolen left, right, and center. In fact, we've eaten the flesh of the country. We're not eating the bones. Is it possible? Or rather, can we look at ourselves in the mirrors and just tell ourselves the truth and say, look, it's time to work. Whatever it is, however amount, whatever amount it is you've stolen in the past, whatever crimes you've committed in the past, if you need to pay, you pay for them. But there come a time when even there must be honor amongst thieves for the nation to move forward. And that's why I said deliberate efforts must be made. And so as servicemen, however difficult it is to do your job, and even some citizens do not make it easy for you, I get that part. However, please always carry yourself, because of the authority bestowed upon you, all right? Always carry yourself with dignity and decorum. Be responsible. And first, appear, look the part, talk the part, walk the part. There is no need to really harass. Look, the average Nigerian is, the life of the average Nigerian is hell. Everyone knows this. There is barely, it's like government exists in Nigeria, not for the citizens, but for politicians. Unfortunately, that's the case. So when you encounter, when you engage the average Nigerian as a serviceman, all your senses must come to play. And what I mean by that is your inner mind, your inner eyes, your mind must be open, must be sensitive to every in every form and in every direction. You cannot assault your citizens. Those are taxpayers. You get paid from taxpayers' monies. So if they do not pay taxes, government does not make revenue from that end like we understand it. And if government doesn't make revenue, government can pay you. To the ex-servicemen protesting, specifically the ex-policemen and women, I sympathize with you. I share in your struggle. It is shameful that you have to serve your country, but your country, when it's time to look out for you, dejected you and made you go through hell and sorrow and through the worst forms of indignity. It is not right. You should pay. If a man works, he gets paid. A laborer is worthy of his wages. You do not eat the sweat of workers. It is a curse on its own. And I know that we are a very spiritual nation. And people do not like to fall on the bad side of people and then receive curses. But certain things are naturally designed. If a man works, he gets paid. If a man does not work, he doesn't get paid. If a man demands bribe or the easy way out, he doesn't get paid. Those are natural laws. So to cheat a man who has worked all his life and provided service, I don't know, some of you politicians, Nigerian politicians, in fact, I'm not sure where you might end up. And I'm not even sure if hell is hot enough. Maybe somewhere else. But who knows? You still have time to do what's right. You cannot. It is disgraceful to see, especially those of us in the diaspora, that ex-servicemen would protest that they've not been paid their due benefits. Due benefits. They're not beggars. They're not roadside touts. These guys served the nation, sweat, blood, and tears. They committed those things there. You cannot treat them the way you're treating them. And I sympathize with you. And I hope that this government, I don't know, they say we have a president. I like to refer to him as the man in Aso Rock because largely the 2023 elections did not reflect that the person that INEC and the judiciary put in there received overwhelming votes from the people. I'm still not convinced, and so many of us are not convinced, but this is not politics. For the servicemen, please do what's right, act right, appear right, walk right, talk right, live right. I know these things are like, oh, you say, these things are very easy to say. We've heard these things I'm like, you see your son that will be telling you, because I'm in the African, way of trying to infantize your young ones. You call me your son. I'll take it. I'm your son. But I'm your son with exposure and knowledge. And I beg you, it should not be because if you provide service, like I said, I play in the private sector, so I serve people every day. Those younger than me, way younger than me, I even serve infants. Yeah, it's service. You don't choose how you serve people. All right? Once you take up that job, you take up that duty, you are in active service. You're commissioned, and then you should do what the job demands or dictates. It cannot be your own way. Or then you see a young man and then you profile him and say, oh, this is a Yahoo boy. Not all of us are Yahoo boys. And some of us are actually doing well. Not that we have votes in our houses, or we have big banks, or we have daddy politicians or mommy politicians. That's not what I mean. I mean, legitimately, the right way. Some of us are getting it right. And we're better for it. So I salute you to the boys in the field doing the Lord's work, fighting those charlatans and idiots. Continue to do the Lord's work. Put the fear of God upon the enemy, in the minds of the enemy, so that Nigeria once again will be free and peaceful, and that its peoples will be united under one voice. We have several tribes and languages and tongues and ethnicities. That's all right. However, we're a community. And in that sense, that word community must be activated in the realm of Nigeria. It has to happen before anything can move forward. You cannot build upon broken glasses. You cannot build upon rocky foundations. Although you can build houses in the mountains, yes, but that foundation must be solid. You cannot do anything without a firm foundation. It will crash. You will not record progress. You might record small wins, but those wins eventually would burn out and they will become rubbish, and then you're back to ground zero. That's not how to work. That's not how to progress. Respect to every serviceman and servicewoman out there. God bless your efforts. Please continue to do what you do for the flag. I salute your duty. I salute your passion. I salute your pride. I salute your heroics. And God continue to keep and guide you. Much love and respect. Thank you.